What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another reaction. You're gonna see this after I upload the speedrun that I did of this game. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be after. I didn't finish it. I lost way too many times at Mr. Dream. I'm recording this right after. I'm still salty about it, so call it whatever you want. No, I didn't finish it. Maybe I'll come back to it in the future, but I couldn't take losing anymore. I lost for 3 hours straight, almost. So, I was done. Either way, welcome to... Hold on, let me switch the screen. No, you can't see it, but welcome to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out Speedrun. It's by ZALLARD. We've reacted to him before with the Super Punch-Out. And you guys seem to enjoy it, so let's see how he does compared to how I did, which I'm sure is gonna be a lot better. So let's watch the video. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else to say. I thought I had something else, but yeah.
That is an extremely execution-heavy game and requires a lot of focus out of Zallard. So the first thing to note is that timer is going for you watching the stream. Don't pay too much attention to that. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is
The room's really empty for some reason.
speedrun clocked with the actual in-game timer because there's a lot of random aspects that can impact the actual clock in real time. So let's get down to basic mechanics of MTPO and what Zallard's going to be doing throughout these fights. Some important terms that get used a lot. The biggest one is buffering, the buffering of inputs. Basically, buffering is ways to give Zallard setups for certain windows of tight frame tricks to hit. It allows him to manipulate.
I could have knocked Glass Joe down way quicker, but I missed that, and I had to spend forever knocking him down. So
Things in certain situations, and you're going to have him doing a lot of things where he'll be holding a button in contrast with another button to have attacks basically link once an attack ends. And then the other important thing is you're going to be seeing a lot of guard manipulation. Basically, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out plays a lot like old cheaty fighting games, where the CPU will actually read the inputs on your controller to get a feel for what you're trying to do. If you're holding up on your controller, most opponents are naturally going to raise their gloves and attempt to guard their face. If you're not holding up, they will naturally guard low. So there's...
I didn't know that was a thing. I know the AI is cheating half the games, but I didn't know that the ones in here actually responded to what you held your buttons. Also, he's beating the snot out of Von Kaiser.
There's going to be a lot of instances where Zallard is, for example, throwing a jab like at the upper right-hand punch, and at the same time manipulating up or down on the control pad to get the guard to go the way he wants. These first couple fights, Glass Joe and Von Kaiser, are pretty straightforward. There's some minor buffer inputs. Von Kaiser has a lot of very consistent setups to get stars and get easy knockdowns, so these kind of get off and running, and now we're going to get into some interesting
37
stuff with,
seconds.
Piston 1 coming up here.
Yeah, there was a little bit of guard manipulation on Von Kaiser, but it was pretty minor, and you only really saw it in the first and second phases.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of inputs in this game that you don't actually see. I'm using the D-pad frequently, even just during normal punches.
Yeah. So one thing you're going to see now is Piston Honda is susceptible to a specific mechanic in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out that the major players dub max damage uppercuts. As you can see, when Zallard gets a star, it goes up on the HUD up there. The star allows Little Mac to throw his iconic uppercut where he jumps and slams the fist into the opponent with all of his fury. There's an interesting aspect about the uppercut is that even when it hits, it can actually do lower damage than its...
I don't even understand how he's getting stars. I mean, I've played this game before, but apparently not enough to know what's going on.
capable of if the opponent is starting to raise their guard or is able to basically block their face in any way. The punch will still hit, but it'll do less damage. So Zallard's going to be doing a lot of guard manipulation to keep the opponent, in this case Piston Honda, busy, so that when that uppercut hits, it does the maximum amount of damage, and though it speeds up the fight significantly.
So I opted for a slightly safer strategy. I set up a max damage uppercut in phase 3 by keeping his guard up from phase 2. Whenever a boxer gets up from a knockdown and they get up on 1, they get full health. But they also go down 1 star. So, like, their health bar just completely drained.
That's how we knocked him down that one. That's how we knocked him down that one time. Got it.
Yep.
So, you'll see that frequently throughout this run.
Yeah, there's a lot of MTPO is incredibly random, and it gets more random as the fights go on. But Zallard and Sinister One and the other big punch-out players have spent years finding ways to basically not only manipulate the fights into giving them preferential patterns and preferential ways to get in damage, but knowing what to do when they don't get optimal patterns. Dawn 1 here is going to be our first instance of a frame perfect trick. Those of you who are not aware of what frame perfect is, punch out, like most games of the NES era, runs at 60 frames per second. So a frame perfect trick is something that has to be done in 1/60 of a second. So there it is, this dodge into the hit. That star is frame perfect. It only can be given to Little Mac if he punches on an exact frame. But what Zallard did is you saw him do a double dodge to the left there after convincing Dawn to throw his uppercut. That's a buffer technique. Zallard is actually basically setting up the dodges so that they end always on the frame that allows him to buffer that jab, and he'll get the star every single time. So it is a frame perfect trick, but that buffer basically takes away a lot of the strict timing and allows it to be...
I swear he got back up 3 times. Not 3 times, but he got back up twice when I fought him. This dude had to... I guarantee Zallard had to study this game. Oh, I'm kind of blocking him. But then if I go over there, I'm blocking the time. It's fine. You can still see him down there. You just can't see the guy who's talking because they're on the other side this time.
Strategy you can use in every run.
Yeah, so in between when his uppercut is going off and when he becomes idle, there's that 1 frame window. That's what's key. This fight, super duper random. So
welcome to the first gatekeeper of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. King Hippo, very infamous. You can only damage Hippo by getting him to throw his slam punch there when he opens his mouth. And the ideal way to finish this fight is in 3 cycles. You want Hippo to open his mouth 3 times. If you punch him as early as possible when he opens his mouth, you'll be able to get in 9 total hits, and that will 3 cycle. But Hippo opening his mouth is a 3/8 chance every time he throws a punch, and as you can see, he did not want to cooperate. So.
I did 3 cycle him, so that is pretty tough execution. You have to hit him extremely early, immediately as he opens. Otherwise, you're going to get 8 hits instead of 9. You need that 9th one on every single one. So
I think I got around there. Instead of 119, instead of the 119, I think I got closer to 130 because I was getting 8 hits, but...
Good execution, bad luck.
Yeah, one of those fights where Zallard did nothing wrong. Execution-wise, just there are a lot of boxers in MTPO that don't care how good you are at the game. They can still just eat up the clock.
Yeah.
So Hippo is notably the first major reset point when you're doing single-segment attempts of MTPO. Ideally, you want to have something in the 40 to 45 range, but sub-50 is usually still good enough to continue a run. Great Tiger here is a pretty straightforward fight. You're going to see more guard manipulations and basic ways to get stars. Great Tiger takes a lot of damage from star punches. And from here, we're going to have a very specific form of buffering. Right now, Zallard is holding the start button. The start button is the input for the uppercut. He's holding it. It's going to go off on the first possible frame when he's able to take action again, because that's how Punch-Out buffers inputs. If a boxer is knocked down and you hold a button, that button will come out the very first frame that Mac is able to act when the action restarts, so to speak. So,
the way he was getting stars in that one almost seems like easier than trying to see when the turban flashes.
Now, that kind of buffer is very simple. You can literally learn that today by seeing if you can hold down a button with your thumb. If you can, congratulations, you've
Ow, I just kicked my computer, that hurt.
Buffering. The buffers get much more complex and stuff as we go on here through the major circuit and soon the world circuit. So Bull 1 here is a kind of a complex fight. This first phase is really straightforward. Zallard's just going to alternate getting star punches and immediately buffering the uppercut right afterwards to get a 17-second knockdown. That's just a rhythm thing until the very last punch there for the actual knockdown. He has to do a slight delay to get the setup where he wants for the second phase. The important part about these phases going forward is whether or not Bald Bull is going to start throwing his rolling jabs, where he kind of rolls his hands over one another before he punches at Little Mac.
So I was really lucky. I actually messed up the delayed hit there. There's a random chance that I could have not gotten that third star. That third star lets me deal a lot more damage.
Yeah, so there's an interesting mechanic in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. When you have 3 stars stocked, which is the most uppercut punches you can have stocked, you actually get, very nice fight, by the way, that's a really good.
So I got the rolling jab pattern, which is 25% likely in the final phase, and the good refill, which is also 25% likely at the same time.
Yeah, so that's an excellent ball.
I didn't do too bad on that one either, except for I had to go clear until he did the bull rush to knock him down. I was doing fine up until literally Sandman.
But when Little Mac has all 3 stars stocked, he hasn't used any of the star punches yet, the opponents actually cannot dodge. So it's a weird kind of hidden mechanic that's not meant to be known to the player, but it changes how the boxers react to what Zallard's doing. So that knowledge allows him to set up that final phase, and as he said, he got a rare pattern and a rare refill. So, when the boxers get up from a knockdown, they have specific criteria as to how much health they will regain. For example, if a boxer gets up on a 1 count, they will always get full health. They will get their full HP bar back. But if you hit them with a star punch, it will be an instant knockdown.
Nose is itchy.
It will drain their entire health again. So Piston 2 is one of the more complicated fights. This has been recently redone with the strategies they utilize. You're going to see a lot of the guard manipulation and what's termed as misdirection gutters. Zallard's going to be trying to get Piston Honda's guard to go a specific way so that he can land gut punches when he needs to, and then also, of course, land those max damage uppercuts we talk about.
So he did tag me with a hit. I'm going to have to do a couple backup strategies. Okay, there we go.
So that's a backup strat. If
Every single time I tried to do that, it was literally a star. I hit that exact frame every single time. Star, every single time.
you don't get the good pattern you want, you make a mistake. Piston Honda 2 can always be knocked out if you jab his rush punch square in the gut. So that's a guaranteed knockout if you basically counter hit him out of that. So that's the backup strat anytime a runner would make a mistake in the first phase of Piston 2.
It's kind of nice because I was going for some really, really fancy, difficult strategies that were previously tool-assisted run only.
Yeah.
I almost got it, but
it's a really tough fight. Speaking of a fight that's not terribly tough execution-wise, but is very random, Soda here.
I can only imagine if you counter, because he does a lot of, he takes a lot of damage from star punches, so I can only imagine, because when I did it, I accidentally countered a star punch, or I accidentally countered his, like, hook with a star punch, and it knocked him out, or knocked him down, so I think if you just counter his hooks and stuff with a star punch, it just knocks him down.
You basically want to see him get ready to go into that crouch animation. That's his pose for when he's going to throw his uppercut. If he gives Zallard that pattern, Zallard can basically put him in a stunned animation where he can land a guaranteed star punch. And when he does that, while Soda is in that crouching animation, it always knocks Soda down. So you can see right here, blocks him, star punch goes off, Soda goes down. Ideally, you want each of these cycles to go 17 seconds. A 51 Soda is a super, super good Soda if you can get it. But it's random whether or not Soda crouches down to do the big...
I lied. He just countered it and it didn't knock him down. The uppercut trick wasn't working for me when I was doing it. It worked like twice, I think, and that was it. But other than that, I couldn't land when he kept dodging him.
Uppercut, or he just throws a basic hook where he stays standing. If he throws the hook, Zallard can't actually set up that guaranteed star punch and has to wait and take another shot.
Yeah, so I got one hook. That's not good luck, but
yeah.
Outside of that, he didn't make me go pink. If you run out of hearts, you only have 8 in that fight, then you're going to be losing a ton of time. Yeah. So fortunately, he didn't throw that many hooks.
Bull 2, this is where fights start getting interesting because this is where the game starts demanding a lot of the player, both execution-wise and in knowledge. Bull 2 can only be knocked down by hitting him with a star punch or by punching him out of his bull charge, which in an ideal situation, you're never going to see him do bull charge. Zallard's going to TKO him before he gets to do any of those. But this is another fight with a lot of again, that basic guard manipulation, recognizing what patterns he gets, if Bald Bull does the rolling jabs, if he doesn't. So this is one of those games where it would be awesome if we could actually have an input reader so people could see what's going on with the control pad as Zallard's doing these fights, because there's a lot of times where he's having to tap up while throwing a punch and then immediately release up so that he can buffer his next punch and have it go through and not be guarded. And it's a lot of knowledge, a lot of execution that you don't really get to see all of the intricacies just by watching the game for the first time.
Yeah, I tried to go for a misdirection gut. So there's a 25% chance that you can sneak a punch through his guard. He's really, Bull 2 is really good at keeping his guard where your input is. It'll read whenever you press up or whenever you don't. But 25% of the time, he's not so good at it.
Yeah.
So
Stupid Don Flamenco. About quit the run at him because he was giving me so much trouble for some reason, and I didn't want to keep going after him.
Just he'll ignore all input and just block anyway.
yeah.
Dawn 2 here, this is the most random fight in the game in terms of the branching paths and the way things can go. Basically, once Zallard gets a guaranteed star, every punch that Zallard lands going forward can result in a random star, but it's if I remember right, a 1 in 8 shot every time.
I got one random star, and it's also 1 in 16.
1 in 16, thank you. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
So whether or not Zallard gets any of those random 1 in 16 stars completely changes the route and strategy he can use in this fight. And basically, he has to know where he's at in each phase, when he gets those random stars, and where to be able to utilize them for maximum damage.
All right, so I got one random star in phase 1, and it gave me the mid refill. So the health refill on phase 2 is random. This is a pretty good situation.
Yeah, right now, Don's cooperating pretty well. Like, to give you an idea of how rare it is to get, super, super optimal luck in this fight, I think I've seen...
Didn't even do the taunts for him. Mine was stuck in a taunt animation the entire time, so I could never hit him.
Zallard get 3 random stars once ever in all the years I've watched you do attempts in practice of this game. But a 139 solid Dawn 2, you would happily take that in a single segment.
Anything under 140 is excellent.
Now, Sandman isn't hard. I didn't have a problem with him. It was the stupid Dreamland Express that kept getting me.
All right, so these last 3 fights are incredibly difficult.
Yep. So you're going to see Zallard's health bar actually goes to half. If you hold select at the start of a fight, your health bar goes down to half, and you're probably asking yourself, why would you want to do that? Well, the optimal strategy to beat Mr. Sandman quickly is, at one point, Zallard's going to take a knockdown in this match. He's actually going to be purposefully knocked down on the mat because that will set up Mr. Sandman doing his Dreamland Express, where he throws 3 rapid uppercuts in a row. And that's also going to let us talk about another major mechanic, and that's the quick dodge technique that is very important, especially in this fight. So you notice, like, Zallard's moving left and right to dodge the punches, stuff like that. Quick dodging is where you tap dodge, and in MTPO, you pretty much always want to dodge left. Left is slightly faster to dodge by 1 frame than dodging to the right is, and quick dodging, where Zallard taps left and then does another input, either up or down, it cancels him out of the dodge animation as quickly as he possibly can and allows him to get more damage in by, basically utilizing the stun mechanic when you counter hit a boxer. See there, he did 3 quick dodges so that all these hits after the Dreamland Express are going to go off.
How? All right.
And this is...
Hit him 19 times. I think the most I got was like 12. 19's insane. That's basically his whole health bar.
Really, really good luck at the moment?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take... Oh, okay, never mind. He gave me the bad refill.
Okay, yep. So yeah, this knockdown is intentional. Zallard wants to do this because now, immediately, he's going to go right back into the Dreamland Express after a delay. And now, Zallard should be able to get in enough hits to knock out Sandman from this point.
So the bad refill
makes that not possible. That's right.
But that extra hit kind of helps a little bit. 231 is pretty good for the bad refill.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I took him out in round 2 or round 1 after I got done fighting him again, but I never got hit him 19 times at all. That's just insane.
And Mr. Sandman, one of the only boxers in the game that cannot be defeated by a normal knockout. You have to get a TKO and knock him down 3 times.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they programmed the point threshold to be like, I don't know, like 999,000 or something absurd that you can't even actually get, so.
So, Mr. Sandman, this is one of the most technical fights in the game, and you're going to see Zallard doing a lot.
Called him Mr. Sandman. That's Super Macho Man.
Lot of those
did he?
guard fights in the game. So, Mr. Sandman, this is one of the most
called him
technical
Mr.
fights
Sandman.
in the game, and you're going to see Zallard doing a lot of those guard manipulations, those misdirections to get in a ton of hits. And when this fight's done well, it's really interesting, so I'm going to let Zallard work.
That fake-out pattern.
Yeah.
Oops. Alright, so I got hit. He's going to get higher refills. He gave me like a terrible pattern.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a pattern that bad.
Yeah, Sandman is very random, and you have to react very quickly to do anything about it.
You called him Sandman again. This is Macho Man.
There you saw the spin punch action that Mr. Sandman takes. He can throw anywhere between 3 and an infinite number of those spin punches. Ideally, Zallard wants to dodge and then immediately punish it after the final spin punch. It requires a very subtle audio cue that's really difficult to tell. Very nice.
Actually, I have 3 stars. I could just see that.
There we go.
Yeah, pretty bad fight. Getting tagged cost you a lot of time.
I don't think I did too bad on this one. I think I got the same, not the same time, but I think I beat him in round 1.
But
Sandman is, I mean, one of the most complex fights in the game because of how quickly you have to react.
Keeps
to
calling him
whatever pattern
Sandman.
he does give you.
Next is
yeah, when
Mr.
Macho-
Dream.
When he kind of just
Macho.
It's all good. When he was throwing those hooks are the slower attack from him, and he also just did really big delays, so it kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah. So up next we have the dream fight with Mike Tyson himself. Very quickly, this fight.
This is where I quit. This took me 3 hours to do, and I didn't do it. So let's see how he can possibly do it better than I did.
Relies on a ton of frame-perfect inputs. Every time you see Zallard dodge the uppercut, which knocks you down.
Not technically Mr. Dream, because I assume when he did this, it was on an actual NES. But they work the same, from what I understand. They're the exact same program, so.
On one hit, he's going to be going for frame-perfect punches afterwards. So it's a good, serious time here. Solid phase 1.
So if you delay, so you hit him and then you stop for a second, and you hit him again, it does more damage. Good to know.
Missed a couple, but 104, I should be kind of okay.
Yeah. So
He's either going to throw 4 or 5. I'm going to bank on 4.
Yeah, but if I would have dodged that, I would have got hit. You see how close that was? He dodged it at like the last possible frame. I would have got knocked down, definitely.
Yep, those 4 punches through phase 1. So now at the minute 30 mark, Tyson goes out of the uppercut phase and now goes into a more standard hook phase.
Alright, so this should be a pretty clean round 1 victory.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for some frame perfect hits just for the heck of it.
It can't be understated how difficult this fight is. Even for players like Zallard or Sinister One, people who've played this game countless times, round 1-ing Tyson is incredibly difficult. Because again, you have to go for those frame-perfect punches in phase 1.
242 is pretty solid.
That's a really good single segment run. That's a wrap. Time.
Yep, time.
Everyone clap.
So yeah, definitely shout outs to the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out community. Of course, like Summoning Salt, Sinister, Ouija Wee, Unpap, all those dudes are great. We're constantly finding new strategies for this game, and yeah, it's fantastic. Unfortunately, Sinister couldn't make it to commentate this. He had prior commitments, but good friend Clage covered everything fantastic. So yeah, that's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and enjoy the rest of GDQX.
Good job.
Insane. It's actually nuts. So, with that being said, so Mike Tyson and Mr. Dream work the exact same, from what I was told in chat one time. So I think, now that I know that, one of these days I'll go back, because it doesn't seem that hard. It's hard enough to lose 3 hours in a row, but I think it's just because I can get to the second phase just fine, but then after that, I'm usually knocked down twice already, but I think if I do it long enough, then I can get to knocking him down. I think I just played it for too long today was the issue, so yeah, that's insane. So, like I said, you'll see this after I already uploaded the speedrun. Sort of speedrun. I never said I was a professional, alright? I just make videos. But I got one more thing to record tonight, then I'm going to bed, then you guys will have videos for 2 days. Because I think I'm going to upload both the speedruns in the same day. Then I have a Wii Punch-Out to upload tomorrow. I got the Wii Punch-Out to upload tomorrow. And then I have these group of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out to upload the next day. So, yeah. So, if you enjoyed, let me know in the comments. Consider subscribing. If there's anything, if there's any other speedruns you want me to react to, let me know in the comments. And oh, real quick, if this is the first video you're seeing of me, hi. And second of all, I'm gonna start doing skits soon, so stay around for that. Also, I play games like too. I play it like this too. I'm just not good at it. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. You guys seem to like the reaction videos that I do, so I'm happy to make them. So, with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. I need that hand, so I'll see you in the next one. Peace.